My name is Praise Ebenezer, also known as Alex's Heaven, and this is my miraculous story.
I was very traumatized, shocked, and anything you can actually think of, because it was more of a shock, because I was just imagining the fact that I was actually the one at the back of the car. Out of the conversation, we swapped positions, and it wasn't even up to how many seconds we swapped positions, and the car just came with reverse and just hit her down and ran over her legs. And I was just shocked, because I was like, so many things in my head, like how it could have been me. I mean, I could have been the one on the ground. I could have been the one that lost my legs and all that.
And from there, someone told us to go to an orthopedic hospital, particular bone setter, Dr. Bone, and that was something else, because when he saw me, he was like, who did this to this girl? When they opened the back seat door of the car, he stood for a very long time, unable to move. When seeing me, he dragged my leg at a point, the one that had twisted to the back, my foot, to twist it back to the front. So at that moment,
when he was turning the leg, I couldn't stand it. When the man started turning the leg, trying to turn this one facing back to the front, to the normal position, I ran to the gate. I came back. I was shouting her shout. I was crying her cry, because the bleeding was much. Not the bleeding, I mean the cry. I could not say it's cry, we're bleeding, because it pains me to my bone marrow that at that stage she can go through such pain.
I went to hell and came back. If I can use that expression, just imagine them twisting your foot back to the front. I only see those things in horror movies where somebody's head goes back to... I yelled the amount of Jesus I called that day. I am very sure that Christ literally had to come down and stay by my side, because I yelled Jesus. At a point, the doctor had to say, when you see me, you just start calling Jesus. And I told him, what I call Jesus? That's the only name I know to call at this point. The only person I know right now that can relate, that can understand, because his bones were pierced, his foot, his hands. He went through trauma, he went through torture. I'm only going through a glimpse.
But one thing I did was to console myself. And then we look for a way out, for a way forward. So when I returned back to Lagos, I visited her where she was. That I wept. She was crying. I can still remember that day that she was crying. I was crying. In fact, it was a period of pain to us and to the entire family. It was really painful. I was afraid, because what I was thinking is that, is this how she's going to go? So I asked God 2 questions that time. I said, why? And you know her very well. This kind of thing is not supposed to be happening this very time.
And yeah, I remember that fateful day when I sneaked into Lagos, and behold, my Praise, and her legs were messed up. And the first question in my head was, I looked up and was like, God, where you dey? Like, if I was just like talking to God like he was mortal, and I was like, if you can just give me a second, can we just change this whole story? That same seconds, I wanted to just be a genie in the lamp to just change the whole story. And then I remember the doctor was there, he sneaked in and was like trying to unpack the bones, and I was like, no, this just can't be me, I can't stay here. I went out and I was like kabashing, I was calling God, this is not my praise, and it shouldn't be praised. I mean, I'm not that sprikoko per se, so let it be me. And while they were arranging the bone, she was calling God, I was calling God. I remember they were packing her to go pee, and the whole leg was still scattering. Jeez, it's not an experience I wish for my enemy.
Reaching Lagos, I dropped my bag, and in my compound. I just dropped my bag, go back to the hospital. Entering there, I saw her lying critically with support of stones and this and that. See the 2 legs and everything. I shouted. I couldn't know what to do. So I started praying immediately. I did not give up. I said, God, how can it be at this juncture? This is my daughter. What will I tell the people? Then the Lord spoke immediately. He spoke. He said, she will walk again. Hallelujah. Praise the Lord.
We were in Dr. Bone's hospital for 3 months, 3.5 months to be precise. From January 21st to 12th. Stitched my legs for hours, for 4 hours. You can just imagine the stitching. At that time, I was not on any anesthetics, nothing. So I had to feel the pain raw. Then when that situation was going on, a lot of people, I heard talks like, probably could be my sins, don't know whether I be armed robber, I be hire killer, a lot of people judged. I'm saying this because sometimes you find yourself in situations where people that you really need to be there for you, people you trust, your family, your friends, will begin to act funny. It all comes with the tide. Don't be discouraged. Don't begin to wonder or begin to feel like the person is heartless or hopeless, or the person is really, really showing their true colors. It is the devil actually interpreting his full colors. I know we are quick to blame devil for our own mistakes, but at that point in time, doors were really shut. It was as if, just imagine the timing where the federal hospitals have to be on strike. I remember we went to a hospital along Ikoti Dimo Road, and we were charged 1 million naira, a private hospital, for one leg. They said my left leg was condemned and they could not do anything about it. The one that had the closed fracture. I could feel it that in that Dr. Bone's hospital that nothing was being done. The treatments were not just working. And we went for x-ray and it was confirmed that my leg, the bones were already forming wrongly. They're just going, according to the x-ray, the charts, they're just going around like twigs in circles, and wherever I was not receiving the best treatment. And even as at that time, the federal hospital was still on strike. January, February, March.
After committing it into the hand of God, and I got assurance that she will walk again. Then from that Dr. Bone hospital, we picked a flight from Lagos to Port Harcourt, and from there we landed to our hometown. We went to Enugu Teaching Hospital, but they were on strike. We came back that same day.
I couldn't turn to the left or turn to the right because I had a very big scar under my rib. You could see my insides. At a point, it started rotting, and maggots started coming out. My mom had to pick them out. In constant pains in the night. In the night, it was worse. It was as if someone was boiling my body in a control pot because I could not move left, I could not move right. But in these sub stories, something just kept me going. Those that would be good was hope. Hope. I would sleep, I would dream, I wouldn't see myself crippled, I'd see myself walking, I would see myself dancing. That was hope for me. And I stopped every negative talk. At a point, it was loony. It was as if I was going loony because I would say, don't tell me, tell me it is well with me. I would keep playing I'm trying to tell you what kept me going. I was a music lover, I was a dancer, and I did not stop dancing, even while being crippled. I put the earpiece in my ear, and then I don't want people to see my tears. had to cover because I don't want to hear sorry, it's okay now. God will do it. Why are you doing this to yourself? Any sympathy thing, I did not want to feel it. And I never used the word crippled for one day throughout that state. I remember people calling me to celebrate Easter, and I did not remember it was Easter because for a very long time I had not seen the sun, I had not seen the moon. These are things most of us really do take for granted. You know, the air that we breathe, the sun that shines upon our skin, the stars that we see at night. I remember one day, I'm sorry I'm using remember so much. I remember a certain day because this is actually flashback theory. So I cried that I want to see the moon. I felt like I was locked up in a prison. I could not move, I could not do anything. I kept on lamenting I want to see the moon. So the caregivers had to bring me outside and forced me. My knee can't bend. They're just straight. They've been that way for long because they've been bandaged. In fact, they have stones guiding my foot because my ankle on both sides crushed. I have new set of ankles, if you can believe that. God is really wonderful. So they have to use stones to hold it because if you remove the stones, my leg will just fall. My legs rather will just fall. So they had to carry me and force me and somehow managed to put me on a chair. And I tried in pain to reach out to the sand, to touch the sand. Sand that we're just walking every day, marching. I had to try to feel it that, sand, now you be this. Moon, now you be this. That's what I was just saying in vernacular. I was like, is this you, sun? Is this you, moon? And I was grateful, thanking God for the sun and the moon. At that moment, I was looking for admission badly. I'd finished school a long time ago, and Jam kept jamming me, posting me, and it wasn't as if I was not passing. I was passing, but all odds were not. This is when people are so quick to say it's generational force. It's something like, this is someone that had God. This is somebody that loved God. This is someone that walked with God. And there in the hospital bed, that Dr. Boone orthopedic hospital bed, my admission came. Admission I had been looking for years, donkey years, because I finished my secondary school quite early. It came. Could not go. I defied it, and when we came back for it, we're hearing cock and bull stories. I got admission into University of Calabar to study English and literature. Theatre would have been my first choice, but that's what I actually got. And I was so excited. My name made it first list. And all these years where legs they good, nothing happen. Come be the time where leg they bad. Admission is coming. And you can only imagine how that felt. Left there, and that's when I went to Abia State. My uncle had just died. Like I said earlier on, I wanted to attend the burial, and I could not attend the burial because of fear. There's so much doubt. Is this thing from my father's village? Is it from my mother's village? I don't understand. This one that everybody, death was just hovering around us from childhood on to that moment. I had not experienced anything death or burial or nothing like that. I just hear about it. But that day was as if something was targeting us one by one. But Mercy said no. We got to Umahia and he saw the bone settled. He didn't really say anything. He asked for money. I think 100 and something thousand then. We had spent a lot and we could raise the little we could. They just dumped us in an old home and he hardly checked on me. For good 4 days he didn't check on me. I told Uche that I've been studying the word and there's something that's been ringing in the scriptures that I've been studying. They've been popping up too often when we're in Lagos. Go to the other side, go to the other side. I think the other side means we should leave Lagos. So that's why I was convinced to go for my uncle's burial and also to go seek help. And I googled Primus, it's an Indian hospital, bone hospital, and Abuja, New Carroll Road. And here's me going to Primus, a very big-mouthed hospital. We don't have the funds for it. My dad was out of the country. He's not in the country, and he was sending what he could through Western Union, and at the point, he couldn't send anymore.
Another effort we made was we took her to these bone setters, but that one didn't rhyme. Then we moved her to Abuja again. We went to Primus Hospital, one of the Indian strongest good hospital. They examined her and they said that the leg is already infected, while my daughter said no, it's not true. In fact, what helped her a lot is that she had faith. And if we enter any vehicle, if after preaching, she will preach again. And her own preaching will even be more serious than myself, that is.
I heard one song constantly. I really need to give a shout out to Ebere. Ebere, I don't know you. I've not seen you before. That song, Tamara Mbanaye, I don't know if this will reach out to you. That song was just saying my story. My story from the first verse to the second down in a nutshell. I listened to that song. I don't know who gave me that song. I don't know how I came across to that song. From January down to the moment of my Thanksgiving. And that was the song I used for my Thanksgiving.
By that time, Uche left because it was Uche who was carrying her, helping her. Anywhere she cannot walk, Uche will lift her and carry her. So when she left, Uche left, I was now the person carrying her up and down. So we went back after we might have gone to that hospital, and they told her after the test and everything, we were told that there was no infection. We were very, very happy. We knew that the finger of God is in us, is with us. Yeah, at Abuja, we are told that at Kogi is the best. That if you go there in one bone setters, that everything will be all right. We went there, and the bone setter came and looked at everything and said, no, if this one passed him, he cannot be able. So they referred her to one hospital, Christian hospital, I think a Catholic hospital, that Oyibos came from Kano, and they will do everything. When we went there, they said they have gone. Then they directed us to one other bone setter again. They said nobody entered that compound and they will be a failure. But my daughter refused and said her spirit rejected it, but I forced her, we went there. Actually, what her spirit rejected was what happened. So we couldn't get any help. We paid a lot of money. At a stage, all the money was spent, and I had nothing. The father brought some money. My friends, I was calling them. In fact, people tried. They were sending some money, making effort. I started borrowing from here and there.
By that times I was broken, yes. Plenty of times. It affected my mood. There was this particular time, my dad told us of a hospital in Port Harcourt, a federal hospital, co-owned by the federal government and the French government too. Teme, I can really remember the hospital, Teme Hospital. And apparently at that time, because I don't know about now, they only accept fresh wounds. Anything from 3 days and above is not their cup of tea anymore. And then we went without enough information because we just had little information from the one my dad had given. We got there and the gates were shut against us. We were told that this was sometime around May. We were told that it has been too long and they cannot do anything about it.
here in Lagos, we comb all the cotton, all everywhere in search of this.
I was shattered into pieces because we had just toured from Lagos to Port Harcourt, down to Umuahia, then Enugu, Owerri, Abuja, Kogi, down to Port Harcourt again.
But we thank God that one day
I was broken.